This is a Nightline Friday night special.
It's all over the streets.
White substance in the packet.
That I've been smoking for 5 years every single day.
He's got a crack pipe.
Bend your knees, here you go.
I ain't never been clean.
Cocaine is. I'm pretty sure you knew it was there.
It's clogging up the jails.
I just had a joint.
It was a vial with cocaine, powder coke.
Is this the better way?
You're clean and treatment looks great.
I don't want to stop. Why would I want to stop? Because they want me to stop.
I'm not a bad person. I'm just a sick person trying to get well.
Tonight, crime and punishment, drug court, waging war on drugs in a totally different way.
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
We now have about 2 million men and women in prison and jail throughout this country, and most of them are in for drug-related crimes. It rarely, if ever, costs less than $20,000 a year per prisoner. It can cost as much as $50,000 a year. So purely from an economic point of view, it is a huge expense. If you've seen some of the programs we've done over the last few years on prisons in North Carolina and Texas and California, you'll know that sending someone to prison rarely, if ever, means putting an end to their drug habit. For openers, it is scandalously easy to acquire drugs in even our highest security prisons. There is also very little money available for the kinds of drug rehabilitation programs that would enable inmates to kick their habits. Most of them go in as addicts. Most of them come out that way too. One reasonably effective way of dealing with the problem has been the establishment of so-called drug courts. There are roughly 500 of them around the country. Over 200 more are in the works. Among those who graduate from these programs, the rate of recidivism, that is, those who end up back in prison again, is encouragingly low. In some areas, as low as 4%. What is involved in these drug courts, though, what is needed to make them work, is a high degree of cooperation among people who normally deal with one another as adversaries, prosecutors, sheriffs, and defense attorneys, and perhaps most important of all, judges. Downtown Tucson, and a typical day in one of the city's central parks.
Anybody have one good reason why we shouldn't take all of you to jail?
Drugs are everywhere. While that may be true for much of America, here in Tucson, the police feel they are under added pressure.
Tucson is the marijuana capital of the world, given the proximity to the border. So it is the safest place to come to buy large quantities of marijuana at the cheapest price.
The police headquarters evidence room is overflowing with marijuana, so much that they've lost count. Perhaps $10 million worth in this room alone. The jail is overflowing with drug offenders. 2/3 of new inmates arriving at the county jail test positive. But Sheriff Clarence Stupnick thinks that's underestimating the scale of the problem.
We probably have 25,000 people in prison in Arizona, so if 80% of those people are addicted, and I think that may even be conservative, you're talking about a whole lot of people.
But up until now, there's been little the county could do, just probation or jail. But in jail, there's no treatment for addiction.
Most of the people that I know that are addicted to drugs would like to be unaddicted. They can't help themselves anymore. Once they get seriously addicted, they need help. And if they don't have the financial means to do that, they don't get it.
Before, I wanted to be clean, but in the back of my mind, I always had that thought of, wanting to get high again. You know what I mean?
Albert Olivas is serving 40 days for cocaine possession.
Well, really what changed me now is, the time that I've been in here, I've never been apart from my family or my kids and my wife this long, And now, when I talk to my wife on the phone and to my kids, I can hear, in their voice the hurt, that I put them through, you know what I mean?
And there's no chance of rehab for Monica German either. She's serving 6 months on various drug charges. She's been a heroin addict since she was 11.
I want help. I want to learn how to deal with life. I want to go straight. I'm scared to get out. In 25 years, I ain't never been out there, and I ain't never been clean. You know, you need to be out there and go to counseling and deal with these issues, you know, and here you don't.
Over half of Tucson's drug offenders come back to prison within a year of leaving.
There's a realization within the United States that some of the traditional methods and strategies that we've used in terms of incarceration haven't worked. And there is a segment of society that can be rehabilitated, that can be saved.
Well, I think most people are desperate. I think people feel largely that the government is having a very difficult time trying to come up with a strategy to eradicate drugs or to deal with them in a more effective way, and they're desperate. They're willing to try anything.
Tucson turned to Judge Leslie Miller, Superior Court judge and convert to a very new type of court, drug court. Police, prosecutors, and defense attorneys all agree that the current system doesn't work.
We've been arresting people and putting them in jail and putting them in prisons, and it hasn't been a good solution to the problems. They've received no treatment, and they're back out on the street committing new crimes, and still with the same problems that they went in with.
What are the times that he missed makeups?
Judge Miller gathered together a very unlikely team. Prosecutors working closely with defense attorneys, working alongside a therapist and case managers.
Really shared openly that alcohol is the problem.
The aim, to treat the addiction, not just punish the crime. The incentive, a chance for the addict to have his conviction erased from his record. Mary Flegel acts as defense counsel.
It is kind of nice to do something positive. I think a lot of people, lawyers especially, were usually doing negative things. I mean, we're involved, people are, oh, you only have to do 5 years in prison, not 10, and that type of thing, and it's all sad and kind of depressing, and drug court is very upbeat.
Christine Petito represents the prosecution.
It is very different. It's very cooperative. There's not a lot of competition here. Even though we all come from different backgrounds and we all have different bases to start with, we are all ultimately working for one common good, which is to get them off drugs.
What people need is treatment. So much of the drug cases that we get here are small amounts. A lot of people are recreational users. They're not hardcore addicts. And to turn these people into criminals and send them to prison just doesn't make economic sense.
Judge Leslie Miller is very proud of the court. It's been going for just 2 years, and so far, no one who has completed the program has been rearrested. It's too early to say that the record can continue. Other programs around the nation have had mixed results. And in any case, as we'll show you when we come back, this can be a very rocky road.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by OnStar.
We never thought we'd use OnStar for snakes.
I just hate snakes.
Yeah, traveling through Arizona, we blew a front tire. It shot off the road, and I looked down at the ground. It is crawling with rattlesnakes.
It was unbelievable.
I pushed the OnStar button. Within seconds, the OnStar advisor pinpointed our location and sent a tow truck.
Call the paramedics.
Yeah, and kept talking, because we
hate snakes.
Yeah.
The one-touch connection to people who can help.
OnStar.
Call 1-800-OnStar-7.
What creates professional-grade agility? A wider stance for improved handling. Bigger brakes for driver confidence. And a new suspension for a better ride. A world of innovations, plus one new name. The GMC Suburban is now the all-new, surprisingly agile Yukon XL. GMC, do one thing, do it well.
He took New Hampshire. Now in his only Sunday stop, he's taking on Sam. Plus, Hillary's announcing. So what's he think? This week comes to Times Square to find out. Sunday.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go home and shooting stars. Break the mold. ABC
ABC's All-Star Sunday, the NHL All-Star Game, and the AFC-NFC Pro Bowl.
You're an all-star, get your game on, go play.
The NHL All-Star Game, the AFC-NFC Pro Bowl, ABC's All-Star Sunday, this week, live, 2:30 Eastern.
Final answer, you win $250.
America's newest stars every 3 nights a week on ABC.
How you doing?
The court takes a very different approach from a traditional court of law. It's informal
You're clean and treatment looks great. Next week?
and very supportive.
But you've got to let us know when things are really out of control. It's a little bit of social worker, counselor, teacher, mother. It's a little bit of everything.
What makes drug court so different is the intense therapy that participants have to go through. But what makes it work is the court. It's the court that checks that people go to treatment and punishes them if they don't.
Judge Miller, she really wants you to do good. You know, she wants to see you not get in trouble. They want you to get your GED, and they just, it's like they like being somebody's parent. You know, they have to stay on you, but I mean, it's because they want you to do good.
The court checks up on participants with random drug tests. If they test positive, they can go to jail. Paul was originally arrested for possession of cocaine.
I just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I mean, I go to work every morning. I'm on time. I just, you know, like a weekend warrior. Or maybe it's denial. Family's love wasn't enough. A personal. Yes, it's something I needed because it gives me. I have to be strong, period, or else I'm going to go down hard.
But kicking the habit is tough. 2 days later, Paul is in court. It seems he still needs help. He turned up at therapy drunk.
There are times that people will have relapsed and they're in a cycle where they just can't stop using. And we'll put them in jail for a period of time just to give them a break.
I don't come in so much as the bleeding heart liberal anymore. I really want to use those sanctions and consequences because I see that some of those things are the only things that people respond to.
A view shared, perhaps surprisingly, by the defense counsel, Mary Fleeger.
You know, at first we all were so leery about using jail. We felt so bad, like it was such a rude and you know, kind of hostile thing to do. And then it really, it wakes people up like nothing else. And I am really shocked that I'm saying that, but it's true.
Newcomers are given a month's grace to get the drugs out of their system. If they test positive after that, they're sent to jail. For some, that's an excuse to keep on using, at least for a while.
Do you know how much more time I got till I start going to jail?
So you stop going where?
Start going to jail for, remember, 30 days and whatever.
Well, it scares me when you're contemplating how you can work this, okay? You know, you're not asking because you're looking at your last time to use now, are you?
No. I've been smoking for 5 years every single day. You know what I'm saying? It's like smokers, you know what I'm saying? They got to go to the patch or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because, why? Because they can't quit. You know what I'm saying? We're sick. It's not our fault, you know what I'm saying? It's not my fault I got in trouble and now they just want me to, you know, turn into a woman one day or something, you know what I'm saying? I can't do that.
They become recreational users, then they get addicted, then they can't afford to keep up with their addiction, so they will go and break into somebody else's house to steal stuff, to sell it, to buy the drugs.
The point here is change lifestyles. If we could change that lifestyle to accommodate that person's well-being and learn why he's using the drugs, then we become very successful.
Participants have to stay in therapy for at least a year and be finally drug-free for 12 weeks before they can leave and get their felony wiped from the record.
How are the classes going?
They're going good.
2/3 of participants succeed.
And I think that's what it takes, about a year for someone to be sober, to actually realize and look back at their life and say, well, maybe that's not the kind of life I wanted.
But court days are littered with stories of relapse.
He looks very depressed to me. I don't think he needs to go to jail.
Relapse is a part of recovery, and it's expected that they're going to relapse.
The problem is he's clearly been, using. He's got 3 days, three positives? 3 days, so he's going to have to do some jail time for that.
Let's just give him give him a chance to get started. Start him off.
Good. I think he's got to do some time.
Punishment is swift. Fail the drug test, what they refer to as the drop, and you go to jail immediately.
Trying to get my life back. Just having such a good day and then just forgot to drop.
Tom will lose 3 days' work. He has 10 children to support, and it will hit him hard. The court argues that only immediate consequences, so lacking in the rest of the justice system, can get people to really think about their actions.
We're dealing with a lot of people who have had drug addictions for 20 years, or maybe since they were 9 years old. And it's very hard. We can't expect that they'll be arrested on a drug charge and told to quit using drugs and be able, on that basis, to just quit. All their friends use drugs. In many cases, their families are using drugs. So it's very difficult.
But people do make it through. They'll tell us how when we come back.
You see what Duvall did yesterday?
Yeah.
He shouldn't have laid up on that short par 5. He should have used the 3, wouldn't gone for it. What was he thinking?
See what Teltex did yesterday?
Yeah.
They should have offered $68 a share for that Italian multinational. They should have acquired something with less long-term debt, better distribution in Pacific Rim.
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we created a smarter kind of investor.
Dumb. Let's be honest. There's really no such thing as a gracious winner. You might say things like nice game or shake your opponent's hand. But no matter how humble you are on the outside, deep down on the inside, you're saying, I'm better than you are. The Mitsubishi Galant, ranked the #1 family sedan under 20 grand by Car and Driver. Better than Accord or Camry. Boy, we just love saying that.
We mend broken hearts. We make people smile. We take care of best friends. We're the people of Pfizer. We develop medicines that make the world a better place. We spend over $2.5 billion a year on research. That's why we believe we'll introduce more new medicines for more diseases than anyone else. We're not just looking for cures, we're going to find them. Pfizer, life is our life's work.
Coming up, a medical miracle. PI style.
Congratulations, Mr. Flynn.
Politically incorrect with Bill Maher.
Yeah! Who's the man? Yeah! All right! It's my birthday! It's my birthday! Oh, it's so pretty! Ho ho! I told you! Don't be bringing that weak stuff in here! Yeah! Who's the man? Who's the man?
Exercised lately?
Just another night for the Tucson Sheriff's Department. Routine traffic stops, fishing for drug busts.
No headlamp.
I got up to the car, started giving me this spiel about the tags might be expired. He may not know if the tags belong to the vehicle, so on and so forth. In plain view, I can see this under the seat, crack pipe, white powdery substance, so that was time to believe it might be crack cocaine. The white substance in the packet, in the eyeglass packet, you know, you saw it right on the hood of my car. Who does that belong to?
A typical bust, and a typical way for many people to end up in drug court.
It was a vial. It was a vial with cocaine, powder coke.
Doug was arrested for driving under the influence and found with $10 worth of coke in his pockets.
I would have got probably up to 2 years prison if this drug court wasn't here. And that would be one hard thing to tell my family and my daughter, that I had to go to prison for 2 years.
Doug, though, is one of the stars of the program. He's done well despite a recent relapse. He attributes it to therapy and a chance to think.
I'm trying to find new friends that can know what to have a good time and know how to have a good time.
Doug's group is nearing the end of its year in court, and the changes are becoming apparent.
Prior to going into work, I called my boss to see if what supplies he needed, and he said, "Oh yeah, by the way, a couple people were coming in town, and in the past, there's just been a day of using, and I decided not to go in."
Some people fight it like crazy, but I'm going to say that 95% make changes, make some sort of positive change in their life by the end of the program.
It was like survival from day to day. If I could just get out of bed, it was a major accomplishment.
Linnell has fought heroin addiction on and off for 22 years.
I think that people come to just get out of going to jail at first, and then somewhere along the line they catch it, you know. The ones that are sick and tired of being sick all the time.
But staying off drugs without the stick of drug court may be more difficult.
I'm going to say that probably 95% will try again, will use something again after they get out of the program. They'll try it, but it's not going to be as much fun as it was the first time.
A lot of people criticized drug court when it started. You have no idea.
Chief Justice Thomas Zlackett sets the tone for graduation.
Because I do believe that we are finally waking up to the fact that the answer to this problem is not to warehouse human beings behind bars.
It marks the end of drug court for the successful candidates, a time to reflect on change.
I started being more patient. As far as giving attention to my kids and stuff, you know, that changed. And no more drug addict, you know, that changed for sure. It's about so many things changed, I just can't even think of them all right now. Thanks to drug court for changing my life around, you know. I really appreciate it, guys. Okay.
We've just seen wonderful, wonderful progress with so many people. People who come in angry, defiant, distrustful, actually leave being proud of themselves, being able to share, being able to talk, being able to communicate in a way they were never capable of doing when they came into the program.
John Gotti, a computer programmer, completed the program in exactly 1 year.
I think the actual shock of having gone to jail and the threat of having to go to jail again was probably that. At the start, that's what it took. Later on, once my head had cleared a little bit, it was a little bit easier to see better reasons for staying clean. And I'll admit that a lot of the drug court programs indeed helped me realize and thus recover from my addictions. And for that, I thank you very much.
To hear them sum up in just a sentence or two can really get to you. They have to work for it and they have to earn it, and they recognize that at the end, and they're very thankful.
They've wanted to get out of this cycle. They didn't know how to do it, and so they've used this as the crutch and the support to make it happen. I don't expect that everybody who graduates from the program is going to remain drug-free, but they've learned to change their lifestyle. They know what they can accomplish when they're drug-free. On motion of the state and good cause appearing, it is hereby ordered that all charges are dismissed with prejudice.
What does with prejudice mean?
Means that they can't be refiled ever again.
And only then can the party really begin.
I'm going to have a life where I'm not permanently in debt and where I'm not permanently in trouble at work.
A fun one.
I'm going to go have a great life.
And I'll be back with a closing thought in a moment.
Love me forever and let forever begin tonight.
The newly styled Lexus ES 300. Let the affair begin.
My name's Bob.
Tim.
Karen.
I'm quitting smoking.
With Nicorette.
Nicorette gives me 2 ways to help control my cravings.
First, I help prevent them.
You see, I set myself up on a regular schedule. 6 pieces a day.
9.
12.
Do you know when you just get that craving anyway?
Doing my taxes.
Meeting my new daughter-in-law.
Blind date.
I take another piece.
To help take control.
And now, after smoking for 20 years,
I'm finally gonna make it.
I'm sticking with it.
I'm gonna do it.
You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Sunday on an all-new Practice, she believed in his innocence
Dennis Mills has been framed for a crime he didn't commit.
and would stop at nothing to prove it.
We've done everything we can, Lindsay.
Objection.
Denied.
Sidebar.
Denied.
Let's go. Just do it.
If you leave this room, I will hold all 4 of you in contempt.
If we're gonna stay in this room, you will deal with us.
An all-new Practice, Sunday at 10/9 Central on ABC.
You give me a sidebar right now, or we'll take the jail cell.
20 years ago, these friends struggled to make it.
Mary, Rhoda.
Now they're back as suddenly single mothers.
I think they were always like this. Guessing yes.
And things haven't gotten any easier.
You smoke now? Only when I drink. Much better.
Did you pierce your tongue?
It's a clip-on.
Mary Tyler Moore, Valerie Harper, together again in an ABC original.
You have to start taking me seriously.
Mary and Rhoda, Monday 8/7 Central on ABC.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's go.
They were an American family with a dream.
The Beach Boys!
No one ever knew their real-life story
Image. That's everything.
until now. Beyond their legend, the story you can't even imagine.
You just quit it?
Ryan, please. It's over.
The world premiere event, The Beach Boys, An American Family, ABC Sunday, February 27th.
One interesting footnote to the growing popularity of drug courts. A surprising number of conservatives support them. An equally surprising number of civil libertarians do not. Liberals are concerned that drug courts simply perpetuate the criminalization of drugs, blurring the lines between treatment and law enforcement. For the time being, though, the pressure to do something, almost anything, to reduce the problem seems to be winning out. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
Nightline is always on with abcnews.com, part of the Go Network. You can order a transcript or video cassette of this or any other Nightline broadcast by dialing 1-800-CALL-ABC or visiting abcnewsstore.com on the World Wide Web.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
ABC Sports celebrates Black History Month with Derek Jeter, Tiger Woods, Venus and Serena Williams, Shamiqua Holtzclaw, and Anson Carter raising a roof Saturday.
Sure you're ready for this? Yeah. Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage.
Welcome
Welcome to the Rock. ABC Saturday at 8, 7 Central.